Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another Sporting160EN podcast. This is podcast number 14. 2 weeks later, but better late than never. I got two great people on the panel today. We got Steph. Steph, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. I mean, it's been a while, but summer vacation, so everyone deserves some vacation. So,
For
but
sure.
I'm doing good.
For sure. And of course, we're always busier too now in the summer. We also got former guest, now the newest member of the Sporting160EN podcast. We got our boy Nando with us. Nando, how you doing, bro?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing well. Again, I appreciate you guys inviting me back and actually making part of the squad. You guys are awesome, and I'm excited.
Absolutely, bro. You're a gran Sportingista, and we only get gran Sportingistas in here.
Absolutely, that's part of it.
Yeah. Anyways, so today on the podcast, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to start off with the current situation of Sporting. We're going to talk about the latest candidates that have come out as of right now. From what I'm reading, there's 7. I'll get into that in a bit. We'll also be talking more about the reforços, the players that we got and got back. We'll be also later on talking about a bit of the World Cup, about Portugal's exit. Because last time we did the podcast, Portugal was about to face Uruguay. We're going to talk about Portugal's exit, and then probably our prediction on the final and what we thought of this World Cup. So to start off, I have the 7 here, and it'll lead to our questions because the 2 questions we got were about the presidency. So the order in which the candidates came out, I'll say the names right now. Federico Varandas, who was Sporting's the chief medical, what was he? The chief doctor?
Yes.
Director or something like that.
Yeah, it was Federico Varandas. Then we have Fernando Tavares Pereira, who, if I'm not mistaken, is the current president of Sporting, not the SAD, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So far, so good. Then we got Pedro Madeira Rodrigues. We got Dias Ferreira. We got Bruno Carvalho announcing his candidacy today, as well as Carlos Vieira announcing his presidency today. And
he didn't really confirm it yet. He's saying,
Well, there's 2 then. There's 2. Then there's the Carlos Vieira, who has yet to confirm it, as well as the Paulo de Andrade, who has yet to confirm it. But on this list, it shows 7. We'll leave the 7. Is that cool, or do you guys want to leave it to the 5?
No, that's cool. Bruno Carvalho as well. Everybody knows he's suspended as a socio. So until then, he won't be able to go for elections.
Exactly. But if I'm not mistaken, today he was looking for signatures from socios, and I think that's how he's gonna try to
he's gonna try to circumvent
his way in. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so we'll get right away to the first question, which comes from Kevin, and I'll start with you, Steph. Is from that list, who would you have as the president of Sporting?
I don't know yet, because to tell the truth, I'm a big advocate of knowing the program of the layout of each candidate, and so far only Veranda kind of said who's going to be his future coach. He said the Ranieri. Who's going to be his team manager. He's the only one that so far laid the ground, the landscape. The other ones so far didn't. So we got to be patient and give everybody a chance to present their project, what they have, what's their thoughts behind it, and then I'll be able to choose a candidate. But it's too early in the game to pick one. For me to say I like this guy better just because he did such and such in the past, it's not good enough. I have to see what's the new project as far as finances, as far as modalities, as far as all that. So I don't have a preference yet.
Yeah. How about you, Nando? Do you have a thought, any inkling of where you're maybe leaning to, or a favorite so far?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think there's a favorite per se amongst all of those 7 guys. I mean, we know that 2 of them, Bruno Carvalho, he's not eligible to run just yet, but he's still going through the motions. Then you got the guys like Carlos Vieira, whatever. And then, like was just said, only one guy has truly presented his plans, his vision, and Bruno Carvalho. He did it earlier today, and we can get into that a little bit later. But he at least gave us a thought of what he wants to do, continue, and bring going forward. My biggest issue is with guys like Dias Ferreira, those kind of guys, Pedro Madeira Rodrigues, those guys in the past, especially Dias Ferreira. He's been lingering around for a very long time in the Sporting universe. I think he's the epitome of what you call an opportunist. He simply, in my opinion, is there to make a quick buck, keep his name relevant. So guys like that really piss me off. So I honestly don't even care what he has to say. And I think that the majority of Portuguese are kind of ready to weed out those kind of guys. But I'm anxious to see what Pedro Madeira Rodrigues would say, what his vision is. And then
so far he has said some things. He said that his guy, if he's elected president, his coach would be Ranieri. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know. I haven't seen a handshake with him. Last time when he ran against Bruno Carvalho, he said that he'd have a great coach, European level, and he got Juanes, what's his last name? Not Ramirez, Juanes Ramos or something like that. But he has said he has Ranieri, and I think he also wanted basketball to come back to Sporting. He said that, and really that's all I took from what he said he wanted for Sporting. But yeah, I'm not. If I can I'm just gonna throw in my 2 cents.
My biggest.
Go ahead. No,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but my biggest beef with, for example, with Pedro Madeira Rodrigues so far, is he made a comment the other day. It was kind of like a childish spat. He said, I highly doubt that a guy like Varandas knows more about soccer than I do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you picked up on that. And to me, that kind of threw me off because Sporting isn't just soccer. Exactly. So for you to come out and to use that as you're hey, man, I don't think you know as much soccer as me, that throws me off. And on top of that, he's at least been in the Sporting ecosystem. He's been in the Sporting lifestyle, at least being a director of medicine, while the other guy has not. He has nothing to do with Sporting, never has. So if anything, at least Varandas has an idea of what Sporting is like on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. I'm not too sold on Pedro Madeira Rodrigues. I have to base a bit off the past from his last candidacy to presidency. I wasn't impressed at all whatsoever. I thought not that I was necessarily against Bruno Carvalho, because I wasn't, especially back then. I for the last elections I wasn't. But I thought that there was definitely some faults of his that we've definitely seen more and more throughout the past weeks and months, but that he honestly did nothing towards even combating that. He would just insult Sportingistas that weren't on his side, saying, you guys are from Sporting Club de Bruno or Sporting Club de Carvalho, and that's not a president that I want. And I think I look at some guys like Carlos Vieira, whether he actually confirms it or not, and there's some potential there. I see some potential in Varandas, but then he sort of says some other things, or he does other things, standing beside Rogério Alves, I believe his name is, a guy who's constantly been in Sporting's past and not in a good light at all. So I'm not necessarily sold on Varandas. Dias Ferreira, like you said, he's an opportunist. I like him talking. He's a decent commentator. When he was on, I think it was the Dias Seguinte, me and my dad would watch that show every now and again, and I liked certain things that he say and how he defended Sporting and how he would, take shots at Porto and Benfica. But aside from that, I don't see him necessarily as presidential potential. Really, I don't see that, and I think most Sportingistas have seen that in the past, and that's why I think he's ran 2 times, if I'm not mistaken. He hasn't won once yet. We'll see. And then of course Bruno Carvalho came out today saying he wants basketball, a rugby team, I believe he even mentioned Olympics team, paraplegic team. Sorry, thank you.
Who's that? Who's that?
Bruno Carvalho today, and he also talked about more better ecrãs on the stadium, screens on the stadium, free Wi-Fi throughout the stadium. So listen, I'm not trying to say I'm for Bruno Carvalho or against or try to sway opinions, but the only thing that certain other candidates are pissing me off about is that they're not. If they like Pedro Medeiros Rodrigues, he'll say a name like, yeah, I'm gonna get Ranieri, but he won't say an idea. He won't give us, this is an outline of what I want to do. This is a plan. This is what I want to budget certain things here and there. They don't. Most of the time, it's empty words, and it's disappointing to say the least.
Correct.
Steph, do you have anything you want to add or say or?
Well, the thing is, it's way too early. Like when you went for president for any club, it's not only Sporting, but typically in Portugal, you have to introduce it to a lista, meaning your vice president, who's going to be the president of the MAG, a Mesa da Assembleia Geral, and all that. The only one that's done is Varandas. Mm-hmm. He's the one who wants basketball back, and to tell the truth, that's the only modality that's that we're missing. Like Benfica has basketball, handball, has all the modalities. Mm-hmm. So I like the idea. The thing is, can we sustain it? Because it's a lot of money. It's another budget and all that stuff. But the other candidates, they could say whatever they want, free Wi-Fi, this and that. I want to see names. I want to see the names of the vice presidents. I want to see who's going to be the president of MAG. I want to see who's going to be the team manager for the football team or soccer team in America. And that's why I think it's too early. I mean, me saying Bruno Carvalho, I voted for him, but I think his time is over, to tell the truth. If people will hate me for my comments, be it then. But he gave it what he had to give to Sporting. He fucked it up himself by talking too much. You don't send text messages to your players. I'm against that. I mean, what are we in 4th grade? You have a team manager, que era o André Geraldes, and Jorge Jesus was the coach. So you'd speak to them, or you speak face to face. You don't send emails or text messages. It looked like juvenile, And to me, that's not the way a president behaves. And that's what he did. A lot of great things, but he has to talk less and do more behind closed doors, not be so vocal. I'm not saying I'm a fan of Pinto Costa, because I'm not, or do Luis Felipe Vieira, because I'm not. I hate their actions and what they've done in so many ways. But their composure as the president of 2 big clubs is much better. I don't like my president to be on TV all the time, on shows all the time. It's counterproductive, and I think he ruined his image, his persona, and now Varanda looks better because he's been in the club for a long time, and Carlos Vieira, everybody that knows Sporting in depth, we know he was the finance guy. He was the brain of the finances of Sporting. I don't know if he has what it takes to be a president. So I'm going to give it time, and then we'll talk about it in another podcast to see what they have to offer. Not only them, because they don't do things by themselves. They depend on their vice presidents, on the delegados, on the president de MAG. Everyone they have in their lista. I have to look at their lista to see who they have to support them. And then I have to see the project, what they want to see, they envision for the soccer team, not only senior, but the youth, the female team, and all the modalities. I need to see all that, and I want to see how they're going to sustain it. Who's going to be, is it going to be another investor? Is it going to be more towards the socios? I want to see all that. And so far, I haven't seen it, because I can vote. You guys can vote. So, but so far, it's too early. But Andy was the only one that had something to say, and that's all I got to say.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with, everything you said, even as a You know, people might call me a Bruno Carvalho supporter. I've definitely gotten it on Twitter, but I agree 100%. He's definitely ruined his image, and him going into these elections, even with seven people or more, I still can't see him as a favorite. You know what I mean?
I see him. I see him jumping in, and like you said earlier, man, if they give him the opportunity to run, I think that he's going to be able to generate enough support, okay, that he can jump in. And with 7 guys going strong, I think that easily would be only 3 that we would be looking into potentially really, truly becoming in the running for president. It would, in my opinion, be like Pedro Madeira Rodrigues, Varandas, Bruno Carvalho. We know Bruno Carvalho, or at least he should, is going to trump Pedro Madeira Rodrigues. He's done it before. Most likely he'll do it again. I think Varandas is like that perfect counter to Bruno. He's the chill guy, the quiet guy, the guy that everybody's kind of like, oh, okay, he's been there. He knows a little bit of the club. He's already given us the ideas as what he wants going forward. And so I'm thinking he might be the lead dog right now. But like you just said, I still lean pro Bruno Carvalho. I wish he would shut up a lot. However, I think that this time has kind of allowed him to maybe think about his actions and approach it differently. You know, maybe ele ficou um pouco mais maduro.
And it seemed like that today from things I was hearing on Twitter. I managed to catch a little bit of him talking. He definitely seems different. But then again, like the cynic in me is sort of, you know, is this just an act because of elections? And then when he comes to presidency again, if he comes again, you know, he'll still be telling players to fuck off on Facebook and
exactly
criticizing them. That there's still that worry there. So that's why when I say, like, I still don't see him as a favorite, even if his ideas are amazing, just because the man himself, and like Steph said, he ruined his image, and it's upsetting because, you know, Bruno as a president, like with his policies and not, you know, not so much the character, but just him as a president, he had so much potential to even take this Sporting further than he already took it. There's no denying what he did in these 5 years for Sporting were incredible. You know, European titles in modalidades, everything in soccer minus the league title. But we know why we didn't win a few years ago in Jorge Jesus's first season. You know, that's a little bit out of his control. But anyways, I'm going to change the gears just a little bit. Nando, I'll start with you. What do you think so far of Sousa Sintra and how he's handling business, how he's, you know, trying to get some of the players back, and if not, you know, trying to get some finances like with Rui Patricio. What do you think of Sousa Sintra so far?
Man, honestly, so I'm going to use a word that you just used. You know, the cynic in me is sitting here going like, este velho is really trying to milk this opportunity to like change any perception that older Sportingistas have of him and that new Sportingistas will generate on him. I think that I think we all kind of opinionated on like the Bruno Fernandes situation and his moment. In my opinion, I think it was a little bit ridiculous. I think this whole like, you know, he's our player, he wasn't. Let's pretend we just went and got him and give him the red carpet and do all that nonsense. Like, no, the guy was still our player. You know, if he wanted to sign with somebody else like Rui Patricio or whatever, then they can go through the motions of the court system. Nonetheless, you know, he's there. It would be worse if he wasn't. I don't necessarily think everything he said is true, but whatever. But in regards to how Sousa Sintra handled it, it's so hard to say, man. It's hard to judge. Like, sure, I'm happy that he was able to maintain a player like Bruno Fernandes. You know, give us 1 more year, we'll sell you, and that's it. Good riddance. Give us the money. But guys like Nani, I don't necessarily, you know, I'm not going to clap for Sousa Sintra to bring in a guy like Nani. I mean, Bruno Carvalho brought Nani over. At the time, it was just a loan. If Nani is willing to sign a 2-year contract with Sporting and come back home and do 1 more, you know, of opção, I think that any president would be willing, or he'd be willing to do that for any president. I don't think that a certain person was needed to finalize that deal. My biggest issue, however, is not so much with Sousa Sintra, but I think we touched on it a little bit a couple podcasts ago, but it's the whole transition team, right? These guys are signing players, bringing in coaches, that can easily and quickly all get undone. You know, we've got one potential candidate who's saying like, hey, sorry, Cosedo, if I win, you're out. So next guy comes in and he'll undo everything Sousa Sintra did. I think he's trying to just keep the ship afloat. It could have been much worse, or it could still be much worse. It could, but I don't think it could be much better. I think that it's going to be a job that we're going to sit here and go like, all right, as long as we don't have too many negatives, I'll take it, because I don't really see how we can have many positives given that we still have a presidency to be determined.
Yeah, for sure. Which is one of the reasons why I think I was against sort of getting Poseidon in, but reflecting on it, having Poseidon in a 1 year deal, you know, it helps a bit. So, you know, on that move, it was good on him. Steph, what do you think of Sousa Sintra so far?
Well, I think so far that Sousa Sintra is not doing so bad because he's left with a broken vase, let's say. So he's trying to fix the pieces. Sousa Sintra didn't need this. He's a rich man. He's retired. I really believe he's doing this because he's Sportingista. I know in the past he's done some mistakes, like he fired Sir Bobby Robinson, huge mistake. Yep. And among other mistakes that Sportingistas will never forget. I understand that. But now you put yourself in his position. And he's trying to basically keep Sporting afloat. It's easy to talk out of our heart and then say, oh, isso, aquilo, como é que ele pode fazer aquilo, e não sei mais que. But you have to look at the long run, the whole picture. And he's thinking about the president of Sporting for the season of 2018-19, and also the finances. We've heard a few times talking about a Falencia Técnica. Falencia Técnica, sometimes the young generation don't look into depth what it means. And then the Falencia Técnica means that the value of our team is X amount. And then we have X amount of expenses, and it basically cancels each other. In this, with the 9 resignations, was it nine resignations, I believe?
Yeah, 9, yeah.
Players rescinding. It put us in Falencia Técnica because we didn't have that value anymore. So Sousa Sintra, as a businessman, not only in soccer, but in his personal life, he owned several companies, beer companies and whatever, so on, in Portugal and Brazil. He knows that he has to fix it within a couple of months, so try to make it better. So Bruno Fernandes coming back to Sporting was a good thing, because as much as I hate what he did, I hated so much with all my heart, him coming back and actually putting himself on the spot at the Sala de Imprensa de Sporting the day it was announced that he signed a new contract for 5 years, and he answered every question from every newspaper. He didn't give preference to any newspaper. And I think that was awesome. Us Portuguese, we're bipolar by nature. So either we, oh my God, this is the end of the world, or I'll never forgive him. If that's the case, then o Cardinal, what is he doing now, futsal team? After what he did, he shouldn't be in our futsal team. Am I right, o Cardinal?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Bruno Fernandes, at least, is not from our academy. He was not formado no Sporting, and he came back. He didn't sign for any other club. His number one concern was security for himself and his family, and Sporting guaranteed that. And then he came back and he signed for 5 years. So then, let's say he does another amazing season, and next year we sell him. We're going to sell him for the proper value instead of dealing with peanuts with clubs that say, no, we're not going to pay you not even 20 million, but we'll pay you 10 million because I know you guys are struggling financially. Because that's what's going on with William Carvalho and Gelson Martins. It's taken such a long time to deal with those players because Athletic Madrid now they playing games. They said, "No, we're not going to give you 30 million because that's what Sporting wants. They want 30 million plus Uvieto, which is a good player." But Athletic Madrid is playing games, and Sousa Sintra, so far so good. He's able to fight them off and put on a good fight. With the Wolves and Rui Patricio, for example, he slapped them with a counterattack and say, "Okay, so I'm going to complain to FIFA about the Wolves because they signed him and they basically saying they seduce a player to sign for him, and there's no ground for just cause." And the same thing's going to happen to Podence. Podence, he's going to lose his case because, I mean, the whole season didn't even play, and Sporting behaved well.
I mean, you can't go to Greece, a league that we all know is as hostile as it is, and then allege that Sporting and the one-time incident is what freaks you out. Like, get out of here. Like that.
Exactly.
You're playing this for stupid.
And then Sporting will win these cases. You know why? Remember the bombing on the I forget the name.
On Mark Bartra.
Okay, the Borussia Dortmund bombing. That was a fan, and then one player was hurt. Am I right?
Yeah, it was Mark Bartra, and he even I think he suggested or his agent went to FIFA asking if they can rescind, and FIFA told him no. Okay, now let me ask you something. What about all the other players inside the bus that were inside the bus? You don't think they were traumatized by the fucking explosion? I think that's way more traumatic than a bunch of fans entering the field.
Exactly my point. So how do these players think they're going to win when a team from Germany got blown up? They could have killed the whole bus. The guy wasn't too smart making bombs. Well, that's a good thing, of course.
Yeah, thank God, yeah.
But yeah, thank God. But all the players, including the coaching staff and the bus driver, so to speak, they must have been traumatized. They must have gone home to their family and say, "Oh my God, I could have been killed today."
They didn't play that game.
Yeah, he didn't. And don't forget,
we played a few games later, a few days later.
Not only final de Portugal, but they played friendlies for the national team and they played in the World Cup.
Exactly.
That's all you have to say.
That's exactly. If I'm a lawyer, I'm going to eat them alive. They're not going to win these cases. This is why Sporting has to play hardball with the Rui Patricio and Podence. Now, Sousa Sintra is doing the proper thing in trying to negotiate with Valencia and Sevilla and Betis. Now Everton after William Carvalho. I think that's the proper thing to do. Let's try to negotiate for the right amount of money. For José Martins as well. Nantes is doing us a favor by getting Ruben Ribeiro. God bless them. Merci beaucoup, les Français.
Bonne chance, mon ami. Mes amis.
Bonne chance, mon PD. Mas vão dar $1 million. That's a lottery. So, but I think Sousa Sintra is doing quite well, and people have to understand that he needs to fix these problems because the market closes on the 31st of August. So the elections, they only on the 8th of September. So he has to fix these problems now. Yeah. It's not because he wants to, it's because he has no choice. And people don't understand that. Não devia ser ele. Então vai ser quem, caralho? He has no choice, the man. The market closes on the 31st of August. By the time we have a new president, it'll be too late. Then they'll go to court. It'll be way too late. He's trying to minimize the financial problem that we're in. So if we get 30 million for William Carvalho, believe me, that's not bad at all.
I don't even think we'll get 30, but at this point, like you said, I mean, I almost would appreciate him playing the hardball position of saying, like, what we're used to with Bruno Carvalho. Like, look, you're not going to pay me what I want. You're not going to get him anyways. Let's go to court and let's play it out and see how willing they're willing to bite on that. Because I think that these clubs with, Champions League aspirations like Atletico Madrid or whatever, I don't think they want to go that far into the end of the market, not knowing if they're going to secure one of these players.
And especially, we can even use that as an advantage because 15 million for Gelson, I find, is way too low. So if they want to offer 15 million two players that aren't worth more than 10 combined, then Sousa Sintra should And of course, maybe he has. We don't know, but he should be saying, "No, listen, fine. Let's like you said, Nando. No, fine. We'll go to court then. You don't want to pay me what I want? Fuck it. We'll let FIFA handle it and see how it goes."
I agree.
That's my only. When it comes to the negotiations on Sousa Sintra, that's the only thing I see against them is maybe we could have gone for Heldon, for example. We could have gone a lot more than the fucking $2.5 million for 25%.
No,
or $2,500.
No. Well done.
No, who was the one that left? Somebody left Tondela for Al Hilal or wherever, somewhere else in the Middle East for $150,000. Exactly,
$250,000.
And then Heldon only goes for $250,000. That doesn't make sense to me, especially Heldon who had a really good season at Guimarães. I think at least 1.5 we could have got for him.
Honestly, you know what I think that was? I think that was a sell to quickly generate money to pay Coseiro's salary. Or Giuseppe Peseiro. I'm sorry, not Coseiro. He was signed right after that, man. And, you know, we can all sit here all day and opinionate on whether or not we think that the guy is worthy of coming back to Sporting and this, that. But I'll give him props for at least accepting a position in which he knows he might not have a job for more than like a month and a half. And you'll stay for 1 year. All these candidates, all they saying is my coach will be, let's say, Lendinho or Steph or Danny, but it's for the future, not for this season. This season will be too late.
I'm not sure. I think Pianmar said he wants Ranieri for this season.
Yeah. O gajo disse que ele queria. He said he wanted Ranieri. He even made that example. He said the last time Sporting was champion in 99. He said we started with an Italian and we finished with a Portuguese winning. So hopefully we do the reverse. We start with a Portuguese and we finish winning with an Italian.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Logic of that guy.
Let me ask you something. So if Peseiro is doing great and he's in first place, do you think they're going to take him off?
No, but it's honestly tough. It's tough after 3 games. It's tough. It depends because the third game is against Benfica. If he wins that game, I think he stays on. We can lose the other exactly. If he wins that, he stays on.
Well, it's like you said at the beginning of the show, man. Sporting is a bunch of bipolar. So if come that time, Peseiro's like killing it. Sporting's 3 for 3, 9 points. You know, right up in there, and that we're like, we're about to be champion mood. I think we're like, we'll renew his contract for 10 years and it's Peseiro forever. But if he's not doing well, they'll pull the plug on him. If it's that candidate, I don't think the other candidates necessarily will. At this time, they haven't said who they bring in, but we'll see.
But that was a great move by Sousa Sintra by getting rid of the other coach, which he was earning, I think, $4 million per year, and he had a contract for 4 years. That's equal to $12 million. So we would have been stuck with a bill later on with the coach. You see what I mean?
I agree.
And then Peseiro, I know it was not the best choice, and I agree. But at the same time, it's difficult to get a good coach that would say yes for a year.
It's a good short-term
turmoil.
You know what I mean? There's no consistency. It's like, let's say, a coach from France. Okay, are you willing to coach Sporting for a year? So his whole family has to move. You know, just for a year, and maybe, like you guys said, maybe just for a couple of months. So Peseiro accepted it because he lives in Portugal, and he knows Sporting. Me personally, I think he's going to do great. So we'll see. Hey, we won today, 6-0.
Yeah, yes, we did.
I'm only kidding.
The team was.
Don't start us, bro. Don't start us, man. We're on that path.
It was against a bunch of amateurs, but I'm only kidding, you know.
And so quickly, let's just get into the acquisitions. We talked a bit here about Peseiro. I think we all agree that he's not the best, but as a short-term solution, even I've come to the realization that even though I was a fan of the hiring of Mihailovic, that a 3-year deal, $2 million every year for a potential switch when the new president comes. If it's it's likely to not be Bruno Carvalho. Definitely Peseiro is a good switch. Steph, quickly, give me your thoughts on the Bruno Fernandes return.
I'm happy. After listening to him, after listening that os pais dele deram-lhe educação para respeitar quem dá de comer, I like that. Everyone will make mistakes, and if you never made a mistake in your life, then you must be related to Jesus Christ. I don't know, because everybody makes mistakes. Um, so I'm happy with his return. He returned. Rui Patrício Podense, que é da formação, they already signed for the clubs, and they were with our club for Rui Patrício 19 years, Podense for 12, I believe. I might be off a little bit, but a long time. So I give more credit to an outsider that possibly is not even Sportingista. From what I understand, he might be Portista, but he was educated the proper way by his parents. I'm pretty sure he spoke to his parents, and I'm pretty sure his father and mother said, "Hey, Bruno, não te esqueças que o ano passado you in Sampdoria não eras merda nenhuma, and it's Sporting that got you and made you who you are today." Because Bruno Fernandes, no one gave two shits about him a year ago. He was dead in Italy. He was basically riding the bench, and we revived him. His name is him as a player, him as a persona, and him coming back and saying that I'm happy to be back and I want to help the club. I believe in the project, and the only thing that made me hold back was the security. But as soon as Sousa Sintra and everybody else told me, don't worry about security, we got your back. The academy now, it's like Fort Knox. No one can get in without the proper IDs and shit. So his family has the security they need. And believe me, it's not going to happen again at Sporting. And the other clubs that witnessed this, I'm pretty sure that Sporting, o Porto, o Benfica, o Vitória de Guimarães, when they saw what happened at Sporting, they learned with those events, and then I'm pretty sure they upped their security too. But it was one incident, and that's it. And I'm happy he's back, and I applaud him for his courage. A lot of Sportingistas, they're not happy with him coming back, but don't judge him just by Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or newspapers. Listen to him. Give him a shot. Just listen to his live conference. That's all I'm asking. If you listen to it and you're still against it, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Because if you never, se tu não tens pecados na tua vida, then és uma pessoa, fixe, vais para o céu de certeza absoluta.
Yeah, let me just reiterate on that point, because I was one of the guys that I woke up and I see his face on Twitter, and I'm like, not that I was against it, but more so like, why is this, like, who at Sporting thought that this is a good idea? Especially with the rumors going around that he got an increased salary, that he might have even got a signing bonus. And then I ended up listening to the press conference, and genuinely I was surprised. I was, he seemed like a smart kid, and he spoke like one. He mentioned that he's not getting no signing bonus, no extra salary. He got a year extra on top of what he ever had on his original contract, technically, and he's still getting paid the same. Maybe the only comment I didn't like was, I'm not staying because of any financial gain, and I had other teams that are willing to pay $100 million for me, blah blah. But aside from that, he spoke well, and you know what? I'm excited to have him back, because there's no denying he was our best player last season, and he'll only help us further. And I've said it in the past before, and I'll say it again. I don't care if you're a Lampião, if you're a Portista, if you're playing for Sporting and you're honoring the jersey and you're fighting hard for it, then I'll have you on. And so long as Bruno Fernandes keeps up the same effort that he gave us last season, if he gives us more, even better. I'm happy to have him back on, and power to him. And it shows that he's not a coward, and he's able to show his face, whereas club captains that we had for years, and yes, I'm talking about Rui Patrício, would turn their back the moment they have a frango in an important game. They can't even go clap the fans. That Bruno Fernandes shows balls. He throughout this whole season he showed he wasn't a coward, and he doesn't fall under pressure. And again, here's another one where fans are yelling at him, fans are telling him to fuck off, filho da puta, no sei que, no sei quantos, but he's showing his face. And you got to respect that, whether you like him or not, whether you want him back or not. You gotta respect that. Nando, let me throw it to you about Nani. What do you think of the signing of Nani?
Man, I love it. I really do, man. I think that becomes I think it becomes a locker room boost. And I'll tell you why. I think that a guy like Nani, who left Sporting to go to Manchester United, a little bit after Ronaldo did it, and wins the Champions League, and we know what he's about. We know the kind of talent that got him there, and he's bounced around to some respectable clubs, Seleção, whatever. I think it shows a lot, and I think it's what we need in terms of like a locker room environment, honestly, to have a guy that says, you know what, I could, no doubt in my mind that he could be playing elsewhere for more money. No doubt in my mind. But he chose to say, you know what, I'll take what I take. I don't know how much they said they were going to pay him a year or whatever, 500,000 or a million, I don't know, and come to Sporting for 2 years plus one more of option. I don't know if he's going to be given the captain armband or not. I'm sure he'll be in the running for it. But to come back to Sporting in a time where these young punks who think they're the shit, or these older vets, because Rui Patricio isn't young like that anymore, and even William is starting to get up there. They left Sporting for money. There's no other reason why they left Sporting other than money. I don't give a shit what anybody has to say about I feel scared and I can't sleep at night and I have nightmares. The nightmares is because of the wife you chose. It has nothing to do with what happened at the academy. These guys, Nani says the opposite. He says, I'm going to join that team that just had all these problems. I love this team so much that this is my second comeback. And I think I was reading some tweets earlier where a lot of people were kind of torn between, is this guy capable of starting? Is this guy capable of what is he capable of? And at the very least, I think he's going to be a hell of a supplant. I think where we had a year where I think we'd all agree that we had so many limited options on the bench, where we didn't know who to bring in or what kind of player was going to come in. And we're like, well, we know Bruno Cesar is going to come in until he hurts himself and he'll play all 16 positions. I think that I think Nani will be a value. I really do. I really do think that. And somebody had posted a little comparison between Nani and like Gelson. Like Nani when he played for Sporting 2 years ago, Valencia, and even a little bit at Lazio versus Gelson in terms of like, dribbles per game, assists, shots. And Nani does a lot more than Gelson and what we a lot of Sportingistas argued. Like shoot the ball, cross the ball. Don't just run with it. Like do something with it. I think Nani's a little more decisive. So I like it. I really do. And I don't think we're signing him for a lot of money. Elvenia custo zero, of course, throw in the signing bonus, whatever it is. But we could have done much worse than Nani. I truly believe that. Other than that, we really haven't done too many signings. We had the guys that Bruno Carvalho already had guaranteed. We brought in who did we just bring in? We got Bruno Fernandes, obviously. We just talked about that, and I agree with both of you guys to a T about that. And we're just kind of treading water right now. I don't know who else we've got in the pipelines, but I like the signing.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. The last signing, not necessarily Sporting related, but just before we move on to the Portugal thing, I think this would be a quick and easy, a fast way to get to Portugal. What do we think of the signing of the summer? Cristiano Ronaldo to Juventus. Steph, I'll start with you, man. What do you think of that move?
Okay, before I talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, I'm eager to talk about that.
Yeah,
let me put my 2 cents about Nani because I've been fighting on Twitter with people about this. It's been crazy, but I won't take too long. Nani, why is Nani important for Sporting? He's a leader. He comes back full of experience. He has charisma. He knows the club better than anybody else, and he loves the club. Is he going to play all 90 minutes? No, of course not. Is he going to play every game? No, of course not. But is he going to be a great mentor for the youth that we have? Yes, he's going to be. Is he going to be able to show them what Sporting is all about? Limit Sporting, the culture of Sporting? Yes, is he going to be. And that's why he came back. He came back to be a leader of that locker room, just like Nando just said a little while ago. He came back to be a mentor for the youth that we have at Sporting. And that's why it's a good signing. Because Rui Patricio was supposed to be that guy. Not anymore, because he's not Sportingista. Now we all agree on that. I don't give a shit about his goodbye letter. That means shit to me. Podence was just a young guy, which will never be successful in his life. He's not tall enough. Only kidding. But
he's not though. If you think about it, no other team in the world would probably take the risk.
I really don't think he's gonna be more than what he's been. Nothing but like a bench rider and a couple of moments of brilliance, and that's it.
Yeah,
and his career has already been riddled with injuries. I can only imagine when he gets older.
Exactly. He can even do flips, and Nani can do flips.
Mortal.
Meu. Agora, acerca do Cristiano Ronaldo, I think Cristiano Ronaldo made the correct move. I was expecting the Juventus or Manchester United. If he didn't go to Manchester United, we all know why. It must have been because of Mourinho. Their relationship with Real Madrid wasn't the best. Yeah. So I think if it was a different coach, I think he would have gone to Manchester United. But I'd rather see him with a black and white stripes than a red jersey.
Yeah, man. I will say this, man. I got some shit with some friends on Facebook or whatever because they're like, oh, look at all these guys about to become Juve fans. And I've actually been supportive of Juve. When I say supportive, I mean, like, you know, I've sympathized with them a little bit over my life. I mean, I own a couple of their jerseys. So I like them. And even though they pissed me off with all that cheating shit. But I love the move to Juve. I really do. I agree with you a little bit in regards to Mourinho. I think that it was obvious that they had some animosity, maybe some ego conflict at Real. But I think the deciding factor for him, and I listened to one of his interviews, I think he's in China right now, if I'm not mistaken. Or I know I just watched something on ESPN, and he was giving an interview. And he said it, and I saw right through what he was saying in regards to the need, you know, how competitive he is. He loves to win. And I think that adding to his curriculum, adding to his resume, that he can conquer Italy. And I think that would be the first player ever in soccer history to win and be successful in England, in Spain, and in Italy. I think that to him is what he needs and what he wants. He doesn't need it. I think he wants it to just kind of end that conversation of like, who's the GOAT? Ronaldo, Messi? Well, you know what? Messi's never leaving Barcelona. We don't even have to go through that conversation. He just wants to keep tacking on the accolades, man. And I think it's a perfect move for him.
Yeah, I agree. And what's big on me, I think that was big on him moving to Juve, is he looks at other players like Totti, Del Piero, Pirlo. He looks at how, as they aged, Chiellini, as they aged, they've gotten better, or at least they've maintained such a high level, because Italian football, it's more tactical. It's not as tough as in England. It's not as fast as in Spain. It's more, you know, brain than it is, you know, not talent, but it is, you know, skill or not skill. That it is the physical, you know, being super fit.
Yeah.
I think
it's a much more mental league, man.
Exactly. I think that him going to Juventus will definitely prolong his career and definitely make him still, you know, perform highly competitively in what's still one of the best leagues in the world. Anyways, that's the last thing we're gonna say about, you know.
Hold on. Let me just say something. I mean, because I didn't say much. About Ronaldo to Juventus. I think it's a good move because my man, he liked the motivation of Real Madrid. The president wasn't giving him enough love and support, and he felt like, okay, whatever, they don't want me to be in their team anymore, so I'll just leave. And then the Spanish media never treated him properly. Spain itself,
they hate the Portuguese.
They hate. I hate to say it, but they hate the Portuguese. And I know he won a lot of things for Real Madrid because he had a great team, but check this out. I just want to blow your mind just for maximum of 1 minute. This is the squad he's joining. Paulo Dybala, Gonzalo Higuaín, Emre Can, Juan Cuadrado, João Cancelo is not a bad player, Douglas Costas, Miralem Pjanic, Mati Peri, Mario Mandzukic, he just scored the winning goal. Claudio Marchisio, Mary Benatia, Giorgio Gilani, Sami Khedira, Alex Sandro, Marco Bachaca, Rodrigo Bentecourt. This is just a few names. Are you kidding me? He's joining a superstar squad.
Mhm.
So Juventus is going to be right up there fighting for the Champions League, and they have been. I mean,
And they have. They've lost in
I
the
think-
finals without him.
Yeah, and I think Ronaldo going there can take them to that next level.
exactly.
I just want to take a moment and say, like, I hope someone turns around and brings Buffon back. I feel bad for the guy that I helped.
I know. Buffon.
I'm like, how are you going to do the man dirty?
Oh
Like,
my God. Buffon must be like killing himself. What the
oh,
fuck?
Jesus
When
Christ.
did Ronaldo send me a memo?
Oh, dude, can you imagine being like him and just sitting there and be like, are we fucking serious right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
my God. I was thinking the same thing. Buffon must be like a Paris Saint-Germain. What the hell?
A part of me wanted Ronaldo to switch course and go to PSG just for Buffon.
No,
Yeah.
but I don't find I
don't think he would mesh well with Neymar anyway.
I don't find the French league too attractive. I mean,
No, the French league has been vastly, in my opinion, overrated the last, I don't know, almost 10 years. I mean,
I've been saying it's
just-
underrated.
you think so?
I'm a fan of the French league. They're
No,
definitely coming better, but they still have big teams like Lyon. Historically, for sure, big teams. But I mean, they're growing. They're getting better. Lyon, Marseille, Monaco's now what they are. PSG. They have like mid-table teams that are still tough, like Saint-Étienne, Toulouse. Even Stade Rennais is a good team. They have good teams in France. It's a shame that PSG have fucking quadruple the other team's budgets that they can just run by them. But
I know
the French league isn't that bad.
It lacks of charisma. Like in Portugal, we can say, "Epá, que grande jogo, Sporting Benfica," or Porto Benfica, or Porto Sporting. They lack of that. I mean, when you see a Paris Saint-Germain Monaco, okay, it's going to be a great game, but it doesn't have that
magic.
That's magic. Exactly. Now, as Juventus, AC Milan, as Juventus, Inter Milan, as Juventus, Roma. It's different, bro. It's different. Yeah.
The French still have, they got to be like, they still got to make sure they have their shirts properly tucked in, and then they still, that shit pisses me off, bro. They're sitting there and they're like, no, we are still another level of professionalism. And I'm like, okay, don't worry, Brudia. But these guys, like, I thought, man, I'll be honest with you, I thought that PSG was the front runner to get him, like, originally when they started the whole talk of him maybe leaving.
Yeah,
and then when I thought about it a little more, I'm like, I don't see him playing with Neymar. I just don't see that being a thing. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I just didn't see him being like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like, I'll go, me being Ronaldo and who I am, I'm going to go to PSG and become the main thing. I don't see how that would work. Because, I mean, shit, Neymar and Cavani couldn't even get along.
I just think that Juventus, the president of Juventus, called him like 28 times. That's what they said on one.
Yeah, the dude was like, "You're gonna be my best friend."
Yeah, and I think he did a better job, like convincing Ronaldo, come to me. I'll give you this big mansion, beautiful house it's gonna have, with an indoor swimming pool
and still good money. He makes. He makes.
You know what I have as indoor? Uma banheira, caralho, uma banheira.
Anyways, let's just finish off. I forgot we have one last question from our member Bruno, who couldn't be here today. He just asked, so I'll ask each one of you the one question because he asked a few. So Nando, who was your favorite transfer of the offseason so far?
Favorite transfer of the offseason so far? And that's not including Port, like anywhere.
No, for Sporting.
For Sporting, yeah. Well, it's got to be Nani by far. Yeah, for sure. Like I said earlier, we brought in the guys that were Bruno Carvalho signings. The Rafinha and the dude from Rio Ave. But I think bringing. I really think that's it, right? I don't think we've brought in too many more other guys other than bringing
Bruno Gaspar as well.
Yeah, but I'm talking like we brought in. Yeah, and then we brought back the guys that we had loaned out. But like Francisco Geraldo, and stuff like that. But I think Nani by far is our best signing. And the fact that we all agreed on it, and the fact that he did that despite knowing that he might have a different coach, he might have a different president. It just shows how much he loves the club. He loves everything that Sporting is, and then as a Sportingista Ferreño, like you do that for me, and I care about that shit. Like I eat that up, and we love you as fans, and we'll forever love you. Do shit. I'll help you with your rent if you need it one day, but you won't.
He definitely won't. You'll need more help than he does. He does. What do you think of the? We've talked about that. Steph, what's one position in your eyes we still need to address?
Without a doubt, a striker. This is the team that we have. This is the team that we have now. As goalies, we have Viviano, Salin, and Luis Maximiano. In defense, we have Marcelo, Jonathan Silva. Yeah, he's still there. Jefferson, André Pinto, Stefan Ritovski, Lumor, Piccini. He's still there because he went to Switzerland with the team. Domingos Duarte, Mathieu, another guy I respect tremendously because he wasn't a pussy. They're saying he has nightmares, he não pode dormir, senão ainda lhe vão ao cu. O Bruno Gaspar, o Demiral, and let's not forget about o Quartz. He's still on vacation. Yeah. Then in the midfield we have, so far the goalies we have, I totally trust them. Viviano, lots of experience from Sampdoria in the Italian league, which is a tough league. And then and the defense, I think we in good shape as well. I wouldn't touch much of the defense, maybe the left fullback position. But no, we have Piccini and Bruno Gaspar. We're in good shape, actually. Midfield, we have Matheus Pereira. I love the kid. This year is going to be his year. Bruno César, Francisco Geraldo.
That's my boy right there.
Yeah, that's my boy. And now Francisco Geraldo and Bruno Fernandes, they can complement each other. If one is tired, the other one can come in because they have the same kind of feet, the same kind of mentality. Petrovic, Mizik, Wendel, Ryan Gold, João Palhinha, Matheus Oliveira, and let's not forget about Acuna. I don't know what's going to happen to him, but he's still a Sporting player. And then this is why I think our weakness is the striking position, which is Freddy Montero. Thank you for staying. Another guy that's of great value and character and palavra de honra. O Carlos Mané, I'm excited that he's back. O Rafinha, we know him quite well. I'm very excited that he is a Sporting. Castaños, only shit. I don't know why he came back. I mean, I almost killed myself.
Loan him out, I think.
I hope so. I almost killed myself. I slipped off my chair.
I prefer André Balanda than that guy.
Até eu preferi o Paulinho, caralho.
O Bozinov.
Yeah, o Bozinov. Yeah.
O Giovanni Cabral e o Dumbia. I mean, Dumbia, we'll see what's going to happen. But this is the squad we have. Is it a bad squad? And we still might see Bas Dost, because now apparently Bas Dost is still talking to Sporting because of Bruno Fernandes.
Yep.
That's what I heard.
And not to mention, of course, beforehand, we've also heard rumors of Slimani wanting to come back too. So
yes,
if not one, I think the other would definitely come.
Dude, you know, whether I don't know about you guys, but like I felt this all of last season, man. I mean, I think our bench was our biggest weakness, but I think that whether Bas Dost is there or not, we need another solid striker, and a guy like Slimani, a guy who we can count on putting in about 10 to 15 goals. I think if Bas Dost does what he has been doing, or even if he does a little less and gives us only like 20 to 25, we need a guy that's going to be up there putting in 10 to 15 to 20 goals as well. Because if you look at Porto and you look at that reason why they did what they did, I mean, it was just a matter of who was going to score up front. You know, it was going to be Marega, or it was going to be Boubacar, and that gave him the league. It was pick your poison with those two guys.
Yeah, we need both, actually. I mean, the way I see it, we need
we do absolutely.
And Slimani. I mean,
absolutely.
Can they be compatible together up front?
I think so.
If they don't play together every game, that's fine. The only change I would make would be with Dumbia. We still have Dalla, but Dalla is hurt. But
and I think there's reports that he's probably going to be loaned out to Rival again.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. To
Continue
gain more
development.
experience. Yeah. To gain, But that's a team we have. I don't think we're in really bad shape. We just need an outstanding striker. We have speed again. Jovan Cabral is fast. He's
Scored 2 goals
fast.
today.
Yeah, but that game didn't count for nothing.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, still. Dá para as estatísticas.
Exactly.
You Rafinha, you Carlos Mané, they supersonic. Supersonic.
Yeah.
So I don't really miss Jason Martins that much, to tell the truth.
Yeah.
No.
All right, and just to end off this last little bit of Sporting, just to announce, for all our Sporting listeners, if you want to watch the game tomorrow, July 12th, it's at 19 o'clock in Portugal. It's at 2 o'clock here in the East Coast. It's against Neuchâtel Xamax. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It'll be on Sports TV, so for you guys to watch. And then, of course, we also play Nice on Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 18 out in Portugal. That's it.
I started to cut you off, man. I just found out that Benfica was coming to the States, man, and that shit pissed me off.
Yeah.
Hey. We don't talk about those guys here on this podcast.
No, dude, I know, because I'm in Charlotte, bro, and I think who's coming? I think Dortmund, Liverpool is coming. So I was probably gonna go to that game, and somebody was like, I don't know who it was, but somebody was like, "Oh man, Juve, Benfica, and everything." It's like, if you guys knew about that kind of fraud squad, y'all would never invite him back. But
hey,
but
wait outside the Juve's bus with the Sporting shirt for Ronaldo, bro.
But it's good. it's good for the immigrants of Benfica.
Yeah, for sure.
We have good friends from Canada, Cynthia, you, Mario. They actually tried to put a dinner together, but I'm going to be in Portugal, but they invited all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably going to be going to watch the Benfica Juventus game up in New Jersey, to be honest.
It's going to be a good game. You're not going to see the superstars. It's obvious.
Yeah.
No, but eu vou ir com a camisola e o cachecol e tudo do Sporting anyways.
Só vais levar porrada, meu amigo.
Dude, you're going to look at the stadium and you're going to see black, white, red, and then aquele cara de tudo em verde.
Listen, I've done both things. I've gone to Benfica games when they came to the U.S. with my family members, Benfiquistas, and I were neutral, of course. And they came with me to watch Sporting in Harrison at the Red Bull Arena, and they were neutral. But it was just, we're going together. It's a Portuguese team. We had a great lunch, laid down, we vinho tinto, bro, you caralho, and we had a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So, us immigrants, Sportingistas, Benfiquistas, or Portistas, we're different from Benfiquistas and Sportingistas and Portistas from Portugal. We see things in a different way. We live it with more passion in so many ways because we're so far away. So
yeah, go ahead.
That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to quickly switch to the World Cup because we're an hour in and we have yet to talk about Portugal. So just quick thoughts, guys. Quick thoughts on what the game was. I'll give in my quick 2 cents. I thought that Uruguay played like Portugal and Portugal played like another team. Uruguay was very good defensively, as they've known to be. They have a perfect back line. Their midfield isn't as bad as people make it out to be. Of course, they have 2 superstar strikers up top. They had Cavani, who scored 2 goals against us. The first one, I think, Rafael Guerreiro and Font sort of let him go. They could have done better defensively. I forget who the midfielder was, but he didn't pressure the ball fast enough before the cross. I think the cross was too easy. And then also, not to blame Rui Patricio because I want to blame Rui Patricio, but I think being beat at his near post like that, okay, sure, he wasn't expecting it, but it's not a good look for a goalkeeper to be beat on his near post like that. Cavani's second goal was a beauty, a defensive mess up from, I think, Pep. I think his first mess up in years in a Portugal shirt. It came and at the end of the day, I think Portugal did all right. We played good. We moved the ball well. It was the first game this World Cup that I thought Bernardo Silva played very well. My only real question on Fernando Santos was why bring in Manuel Fernandes when he did.
Yes.
But aside from that, I think we can leave a bit with our head held high. It was just a disappointment to leave that early. But Uruguay is a great team. I don't think there's much shame in that. But it's just a shame that we got away from our roots and we lost.
Man,
Nando, give me your quick 2 cents, real quick, man.
Dude, I agree with a lot of what you just said, man. I have a slightly different perspective on, or at least my opinion on how we did overall. Granted that I was there in Russia, so I got to experience aquele povo português, os imigrantes, and everybody.
That's sick.
Yeah, man. I just want to say a little bit. It was super dope to be there, and you'd see. I saw a good bit of Portuguese people. By far not as many as other nations, but I would say this, man. Eu via portugueses. We would have that initial conversation of "Opa, Força Portugal," and then it immediately would go to "Opa, tu és que? Eu sou Sportingista, eu sou Benfiquista," and it would immediately we'd have to establish right then and there who our allegiances were with.
Yeah.
And that shit was pretty dope, man. And I think it would easily say out of 10 people, just like Portugal split up, I'd meet 6 Benfiquistas, 4 Sportingistas, and then every once in a while I met a weird Portista somewhere in there. But it was dope. Now, in terms of Portugal, I think that I'm very disappointed, guys. I don't know. I think that overall our best game was by far against Uruguay. By far, I think that was our best game. It was super, super stressful and frustrating and quite embarrassing, to be honest, to watch how Iran put us on the freaking back wall. And they just, that was it, dude. I was sitting there biting my nails thinking, que vergonha, essa seleção vai embora. Every moment could have been a moment that they would tie the game, take the lead. Against Morocco, we were completely just destroyed. It wasn't even just my opinion, as a Portuguese. I'm talking people from other nations commenting on the streets, come on, Portugal, take away Ronaldo e vocês estão mesmo fodidos. You might not even get a goal scored this tournament. I think it was evident that our seleção, more than ever, is dependent on magic from Ronaldo. I think that if Ronaldo isn't having his perfect 100% beautiful game, Portugal is going to struggle. Players like André Silva were extremely embarrassing to watch. I think that the guy like Manuel Fernandes coming in that game against Uruguay, how you bring in a guy like Manuel Fernandes and leave a guy like Gelson on the bench when you're down and you need to put these guys on the ropes. You don't need another kind of slow player to play midfield. That's my take on it. And I think that it's a little worrisome, man, because I see we have young guys coming up, but these young guys seem to all play the same position. And I'm disappointed, man. I think that we were hoping. I think Fernando Santos was hoping for another. What's that saying? Another, hopefully catch a lightning bolt in a bottle type situation, like do Euro, and everything just kind of go our way. And we pat aqui, a little vitória penalties acolá, and just keep it going, and then pull off some upset. I don't know. It didn't happen. They don't play good enough to make it happen, and to me, it was disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. Steph, hit us with your 2 cents, bro.
Well, I feel the same way. I agree with both of you. Portugal. I had discussed this with a really good friend of mine. Is Portista Bruno Ferreira. He was in our podcast a couple of times when we had the Sporting Porto, and the problem it's like Fernando said. We had a squad that didn't with no chemistry, not gelling. Against Morocco, what an embarrassment. They played much better they were more aggressive. They wanted more to win the game. They could have tied the game easily. I don't even know how they lost. They deserved at least a tie in Morocco. Against what was the other team?
Iran,
então esquece. I mean, Iran, they took us to school. We played bad against them, really bad, horrible. The game against Uruguay, we played better just because we were losing all the time. Because if we were winning, we would drop the lines and we would play defense all the time. But you can expect much when we have players that play in the Turkish league, the Chinese league. Ugari's the backup for his team. Bernardo Silva is the backup for Manchester City. I was not amazed with Bernardo Silva at all.
Nope.
Moutinho backup at Monaco. João Mário backup at West Ham. Uguedes He's the he's the backup as well. Sometimes he plays good, sometimes he doesn't play good under pressure. It seems in big games and he can't deliver. So, for that sense, I think he didn't have the proper players called for the national team. And that's why we lost. I understand he has to trust the players and stuff like that, but there's a time you need to change your team. And the sub-20, the under-21 and the under-23, they have great players. Portugal is doing real well. Rui Jorge, they've been performing real well. So why not, take a risk and go with our youth? O Ricardo, por que não jogou mais vezes o Ricardo? I don't get that.
What's up, man? Is you just said about the Sub-23. I think that it's time to say, you know what, Fernando Santos, you did more than what we ever thought you were going to do. We thank you for your services and the fact that this team brought us a title that we'll never forget. But I think we overachieved. Honestly, that's my opinion. I think we overachieved with Fernando Santos and his style of play, given the fact that we have some creativity and some quick young players, but we overachieved. A team with that kind of potential and speed and creativity should not be parking the bus and hoping for a 1-0 Ronaldo header free kick and then scrape by. My opinion.
Me personally, I would rather see, for example, Unani. I know he didn't play a whole lot, but you could give a good 30 minutes. He could be like, hey, we're struggling, we need a goal, let's put Nani.
Yeah, he did it at the last Euro.
I mean, Justin played, 10 minutes or 15 minutes?
That's it.
That's
when
it.
He came on, he didn't do anything.
He lost balls in the midfield, dangerous balls. I mean, o Adrián, o que é que estava lá a fazer? Nada. Não estava lá a fazer nada o Adrián.
He called him as like a token, like, you know what, brother, I like you, and I got.
It's not even the only thing that angers me about the Portugal team is where was Moutinho these last two games? Aside from
He's
Ronaldo,
so bad, dude. He's so done.
No, wait. Aside from Ronaldo, he was our best player through the tournament, in my opinion.
Moutinho
played very well.
He was consistent. I mean, compared.
But that's what I'm saying. What happened? Why didn't he play?
I think William Carvalho was our best player.
No, okay.
You know what that is? I really believe that William Carvalho dominated that midfield, bro. The amount of times
against Uruguay, yes.
He did good, but
yeah,
I don't say. I think if you take all three, like the group stages game, if you take Spain, he wasn't up to the races. It was just Ronaldo and Moutinho that were up for the races. Morocco, Moutinho was by far our best player. Ronaldo got that one goal and it disappeared. Everybody else disappeared. Moutinho was the only one really running. And then against Iran, he was out of the team. And then against Uruguay, he was out of the team. I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all.
But the
I get why you'd want to put Adrian in to help out William, and it worked for a bit, and it did work. But why wouldn't you have Moutinho just a little bit in front of him? I didn't get that selection from them.
But don't forget, João Moutinho is not a player to play 90 minutes anymore.
Okay, and that's fine. And you in the 70th minute, you can put on Manuel Fernandes or Bruno Fernandes or flip Bernardo Silva in.
Exactly.
We have many other options to put in. If he brought in Ruben Neves, take out Moutinho, put in
Ruben Neves não jogou minuto. O Mário Rui não jogou nem minuto. What the hell?
Ruben Neves nem foi escolhido, meu amigo.
Quem?
O Ruben Neves ficou em casa, meu amigo.
Não, o Ruben Dias.
Ruben Dias. Pois, mas
you know what I mean.
Já era previsto.
I know,
Ruben Dias já era previsto.
Yeah, but the thing is, o Nani could have made a difference. I mean, we have other youth that could have made a difference. O Adrián Silva foi 0 à esquerda. I would rather have Eder.
Honestly, as a different solution. I think Guedes is a great player, but I don't know if it was because he was playing striker or if he was too nervous or if maybe as a Benfiquista he's scared about a depth fucking him up. But he played like garbage, absolute garbage. And he was a player that I was excited to see because he had a decent season at Valencia. Garbage. Disappointing.
Whoever should have been called to the squad.
Yep. It would have been a different option. It would have been a different play. Would have been winning headers.
Should have been called to the squad as well. But
Nani's still meh. I like Nani, but I don't know if he should have been called. To me, instead of Gelson, it should have been either Ronnie Lopes or Bruma.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Not bad choices. Yeah.
Yeah. They had good seasons, fast. They give something different than Gelson. Gelson, ele tenta avançar, se não dá, não dá. And then he loses the ball and counterattack. And to Uruguay, that's terrible.
Listen, o Gelson, like Nando was saying, William Carvalho, they're only interested in money.
Mm-hmm.
Only interested in money. They're not going to be significant players. And I'm not saying this because the way they left with Sporting. It's because if they didn't learn que o Jorge Jesus vão aprender com quem? They're getting older, you know. O Gelson dança e quando é para marcar golo falha sempre. Foda-se. Yeah. Anyway, vão todos para o caralho, ganham mais dinheiro que a gente.
All right, and lastly, to finish off the podcast, we got our final today. Croatia against France.
Wow.
Croatia going in there sort of like Portugal in the Euros.
Mm-hmm.
Won today on extra time. They beat Denmark on penalties and they beat Russia on penalties. They were dominant in the group, though. Nothing like Portugal in the Euros, has to be said. France dominated throughout. I think they didn't lose one single game, right?
No.
I'm not mistaken.
No, they're good.
So I'm not too sure. Steph, who are you going for? We all know you were born in France, raised in Portugal. What's your team? Who do you think is going to win the World Cup?
Allez les Bleus.
Allez les Bleus.
Yeah, it's going to be, for me, it's going to be France because they have a more balanced team, but it doesn't mean shit really because they were the favorites 2 years ago against Portugal and they lost. Yeah. They actually played better than we did, but we won. And my number one team, so everybody knows, of course, it's the national team, it's Seleção Portuguesa. But I do have a special place in my heart for France because I was born there and lived in France until the age of 10. So, of course, I want France to win, and I hope they do win. So they have the deuxième étoile in their jersey, the second star.
Yeah.
But they have a better team than Croatia, and Croatia now is really exhausted, and they have one less day of rest than France, and that could be significant.
And in terms of play, they've played 3 extra times, which is an additional 90 minutes.
Yes.
So they've technically played an extra game ahead of France. So
yeah, Modric came out because he was completely exhausted. Yeah. He's my MVP.
I agree. I agree.
Of the whole team.
Nando, who do you have winning this game?
Man, I have. So I want Croatia to win. I think France will win. I'm kind of the guy who would like, to be honest with you, I was rooting for Russia, man. I was like, I hope that they just fuck this thing whole up and just like everybody one day looks back and is like, did Russia really win a World Cup? So I was rooting for once the big dogs went home, this Mundial became France's to lose. Yep. They had everything set up just perfectly right for them. They have overall the better talent. It is what it is, and they have more collective talent than they have more individual playmakers that are going to make the difference, like Mbappé and Griezmann, and those dudes are going to do their thing. But I think that people are sleeping a little bit on Croatia, man. I think that they're on a mission. I think that those dudes, Modric and Rakitic, those guys, like I was watching highlights of them all tournament long, and it's pretty sick how in sync they are, man. It's they do it with their eyes closed, and I don't know if France has 2 players on the team that are that in sync with each other. I think for Croatia to win, they have to play perfectly. But given that this World Cup, kind of what we didn't expect to happen has happened with teams that have been favorites not doing their thing, will France have a moment like they did against Portugal? Will they kind of choke under the pressure? Or are they going to kind of use that to kind of just up the ante and finally win their big one now? And I think they will, but I prefer Croatia to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Croatia a lot as well. They have a class team. I think an underrated team. They were. I think if I didn't pick them out, I wanted to pick them out as a dark horse in this tournament. When we did the World Cup podcast, I had them coming first in the group, and that's exactly what they did. I was well aware of their talent, but I think the French will be way too much. I think the French talent, the fact that they can have Dembele on the bench, they can have Tolisso on the bench. It's absolutely disgusting, this team. and it's more than deserved the World Cup for them. But we'll see. We'll see. They can definitely slip up. They were also deserving, quote unquote, deserving of the Euro Cup, and they lost to Portugal. So we've seen that this is in them. But I think this French team learned from their mistakes and maybe learned how to deal with the pressure of a final when they played against Portugal.
Agreed.
And overall, I just want to say this has been probably one of the best World Cups I've seen in my lifetime.
Definitely unexpected.
Yeah, for sure.
Watching all those Germans get pissed off and have strokes every game was beautiful.
I had them going all the way to the final with Brazil. Little did I know.
My girlfriend is actually listening into this podcast, and she's Brazilian, so she's been giving me shit all tournament long because she knows how much I love watching Neymar roll on the floor. But
I love picanha, and that's all that matters.
Anyways, I wish I could tell you what I like, but I can't.
All right.
But
anything else we want to add before we leave, boys?
But France is going to win. They have an amazing team, man.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to let it slip. They learned with their mistakes against Portugal.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. And man, Mbappe definitely heir to the throne.
19 years old.
19. Puta que pariu.
E vai ser vendido for maybe 200 million. Vai ver já daqui a pouco.
And he's worth it.
If not more.
Have you seen the speed that this kid is composure?
Speed, that skill, the on the ball.
But who's my favorite player from France?
Who?
Kanté.
Ooh, underrated.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know if I can say underrated, but definitely underappreciated. The hard work Kanté does game in, game out.
Oh my God.
Or even that guy who scored the goal for them the other day. I mean, that defender, that guy for Barcelona, Umtiti.
Also Pavard from Stuttgart. He's been having a breakout season at Stuttgart and now even showing it at the World Cup. Man, France they're stacked. They're stacked. What a team. And the fact that they're young and most likely most of these players are going to show up next World Cup in 4 years in Qatar. It's scary, man.
Look, Lloris is 31. He can play easily until he's 40.
Yeah. And even if he doesn't, they have other players on the bench like that Arbuela guy that also plays for PSG.
Eriola, 25.
There you go.
Yeah. Pavard, 22. Kimpembe, 22. Varane, 25. Umtiti, the one you guys just spoke about, 24 only. Rami, 32, but he doesn't really play.
Nope.
CDB, 25. Hernandez, 22. They have a young squad. Mendy, 23. Pogba, 25. Tolizo, 23. Kante, 27. Matuidi, 31. 29. I mean, they have a young team. You're correct.
Most of those guys you mentioned in 4 years are not even going to be 30 yet. It's only going to be Kante so far that you mentioned.
Oh, dude, yeah. France is set for the future, like beyond set.
Yeah. Like
and not to mention the youngsters that are coming up soon too. It's scary how good they are.
Yeah, he's only 27, so you're looking at least 2 more World Cups, barring injuries. You've got Mbappe dominating for what, at least 20?
Yeah.
At least 15 more years.
Yeah, I would say so. Dembele, 21. Fekiri, 24.
And you know what I like about this French team? They did it the old school way, bro. They like brought these guys up. Like, remember post Zidane, Henry, how bad they were. They were actually. I don't even. Didn't they miss out on the World Cup 2010? I think, or
they were supposed to, but Thierry Henry's handball helped them through Ireland.
But wasn't that 06? I'm thinking 2000. Like after Henry and Zidane in 2006. I'm talking like 2010 and. Like those years there that they were kind of like lost a little bit, in my opinion. They didn't have that guy. They didn't have that Griezmann. They didn't have that go-to player, and they kind of started bringing these talents up. I don't know, man. To me, I love that.
I think the coach at the time was LeBlanc.
Yeah.
They love him there. He was a great player.
Now it's Didier Deschamps. And this guy, he was one of the champions in 1998. So he understands. He's a good coach, really good coach. I really hope they win. I mean, I do feel like 10% of me is French, so I want them to win.
Yeah. All right, boys.
That wraps
us up. Podcast number 14 of the Sporting160EN comes to an end. Check our Twitter page. There's nothing defined yet. We're not too sure when the next time we're going to come on. I know Steph's going to Portugal soon, so Steph, have a wonderful vacation.
I'll be at the Jogo da Apresentação on the 21st. I promise you I'll take some great pictures. And
That's so dope, man.
So if you guys see Steph around the Navalad, you guys know you have to buy him a beer.
That's dope.
That's rule. That's the rule. That's the law. And
man, I hope to be there for the last game of the season, man.
Yeah, me and my Porto buddy are maybe combining it so we can go to the Dragão.
Dude, you tell me and I will be there. I will be there. I don't care how much. Because gets the foot of 17 years and I'm not playing with that 18-year curse.
Yeah.
I hope we win this year, bro.
I hope so too. I think if any fan base deserves it, it's us, man. For everything we went through.
It's us and Liverpool.
Oh, dude, exactly.
No, they've been waiting for a long time too.
No, dude, you know, I'm gonna say that.
Anyways, that wraps up this. That wraps up the podcast. We'll see you guys soon. Make sure don't miss out on the Sporting game tomorrow. If you guys can watch it, support your team, and Viva o Sporting Clube Portugal.
Viva.
Viva, absolutely.